Big Brother Season 27 is officially in the end stages, with Ava Pearl's eviction bringing it down to just 3 house guests remaining. Either Vince Panaro, Ashley Hollis or Morgan Pope will be leaving this game $750,000 richer, and it all begins with the final head of household competition. Cinema Blend continues to watch stream Big Brother and can confirm that Part 1 of the Final HOH competition has been completed. Here's who won the first challenge, and what that means in terms of the finale and their chances of winning the game on Sunday night. Morgan is giving me flashbacks of Jag Bain's record-setting Big Brother run because she refuses to lose competitions since the jury phase started. It's absolutely no surprise to me that she's won Final HOH Part 1 after just having won Final 4 HOH and having beaten Vince and Ashley in yet another competition. I feel a lot better about having picked her as my most likely winner weeks ago when the jury phase started, and I'm not going to change my mind now. For those who need a refresher, Morgan's win means she's guaranteed to participate in Part 3 of the Final HOH competition on finale night. This also means Ashley and Vince will be facing off against each other solo in Part 2, with the winner going on to face Morgan live on Sunday. In case it wasn't remarkably clear at this point, Ashley beating Vince in Part 2 of the Final HOH would be a massive upset. Ashley won a comp win in Week 1, and she's performed pretty poorly in every Big Brother competition since. Additionally, it's unlikely that Part 2 will be a crapshoot competition that comes down to luck. So, unless the pressure gets to Vince, this one is for him to lose. It's pretty much a given at this point that no one is going to lose to Morgan at the Final 2 chair. Vince's only hope of winning will be to take the Final HOH and cut her, then take Ashley at the end instead. It would be a bold play that might risk the entire friendship he's built with Morgan to this point and, frankly, I don't see it happening. If it does, however, it'll go down as one of the most shocking movies in Big Brother history, so my jaw will be on the floor if it does happen. However, with the end in sight, house guests faced both the pressure of the 3-part head of household competition and the weight of the decisions still ahead. This episode focused less on competition outcomes and more on how the remaining players handled the emotions tied to the finale week. Vince admitted he was worried about coming in third and having everyone hate me, while Ashley described feeling physically drained after pushing through the season. Quiet late-night talks revealed nerves, shifting loyalties, and concern about how jury members might view past actions. As Big Brother finale night approaches, every decision is under scrutiny. The episode highlighted the tension between personal bonds and strategic choices, showing that these final days carry as much weight as any challenge. With competition still underway and no guaranteed path to the end, house guests must balance emotional honesty with calculated moves to secure a spot in the Final 2. As the episode continued, the emotional toll of the long season became clear. Ashley, worn down from the constant demands of the game, admitted she was exhausted from doing so much this season before heading to bed. Meanwhile, Vince expressed fears about his standing, confessing he worried about coming in third and reflecting on how many promises had been broken. His comments pointed to concerns about how the jury would perceive his choices. Morgan, who had secured momentum going into the finale week, spoke with Ashley about house dynamics. Ashley noticed that Vince often looked at Morgan a certain way, which sparked discussion about perception in the house. Morgan responded that she was surprised anyone would think of it as a showman's, insisting her focus was the game. The conversation reflected how personal interpretations can influence the way players are judged by others. Throughout the night, the house remained quiet yet tense. Vince wrestled with his doubts, Morgan focused on maintaining control of her path forward, and Ashley reminded herself of her efforts across the season. These exchanges illustrated the mix of exhaustion, honesty, and guarded strategy shaping the beginning of the final week. The episode also turned attention toward long-term planning. Morgan and Vince engaged in a detailed conversation about potential endgame outcomes. Morgan pointed out, it's all about who the jury respects more, emphasizing that competition wins might not outweigh perception. Vince, still uncertain, questioned whether loyalty or adaptability would carry more influence with the jurors. His reflections suggested he was already weighing how to frame H's story should he reach the Final 2. Ashley prepared for her upcoming round, expected to test memory and event recall. Supporters outside the house voiced hopes she could beat Vince next round, highlighting her strong track record in competitions. Inside, Ashley stayed quiet, channeling her focus toward what lay ahead. The strategic conversations reinforced the delicate balance of the final week. Every player must justify their choices while anticipating how jurors will respond. Vince's worry about broken promises. Morgan's confidence in her positioning and Ashley's resolve to keep fighting underscored the varied approaches. With only days remaining, the houseguests understood that the next decisions would define not only the final two but also the winner of Big Brother 27. However, Season 27 of Big Brother has reached the final stage of the competition, where the three remaining houseguests, Vince, Morgan, and Ashley, compete against one another for the winner's title and the $750,000 cash prize. While game talks continue and strategies develop, emotions run high as rumors about a budding romance take center stage. For the majority of Season 27, Vince and Morgan drew attention from co-stars as well as netizens for having an extremely close relationship. Fans referred to them as the cheatments of the season, particularly because Vince had a longtime girlfriend named Kelsey outside the show. Although Vince and Morgan defined their connection as a platonic friendship, the houseguests disagreed, finding their behavior with each other questionable at times. When the live feeds resumed following Ava's eviction in the September 25 episode, Ashley was shown telling Morgan how she truly felt about her relationship with Vince. She pointed out that Vince looked at Morgan a certain way that made her suspect they were romantically attracted to each other. Ashley further mentioned that it was not just her but every other houseguest who suspected them of being interested in each other. The Big Brother contestant added that she would not be surprised if Vince and Morgan started dating after a few months. During a private chat, Ashley shared her opinions on Morgan and Vince's relationship, saying it looked like something more than just a friendship. She went so far as to state that she would not be surprised if they started dating months after the show. Ashley firmly believed that the other houseguests felt the same way. "It's just like, it seems. I mean, he definitely looks at you a certain way, in my opinion," Ashley expressed. Morgan chimed in, clarifying that she saw and considered Vince to be her bestie. The Big Brother star pointed out that there were not many true duos in the house. Consequently, when she found her game partner in Vince, she developed a close relationship with him. Recalling how Zingbot roasted their connection, Morgan said that Vince was the only person she knew who would save her whenever she landed in danger. It was the reason why she was so close to him. Ashley agreed, remembering the time when she questioned Morgan about having a romantic relationship with Vince. I genuinely didn't know, she said. Upon hearing that, Morgan mentioned that Vince was in a 7-year relationship and that they often talked about Kelsey, his girlfriend. But even then, Ashley pointed out that there were times when the two of them seemed like they had something going on. Moreover, it was not just her who thought so. Morgan was surprised to discover that the other houseguests thought the same. It looked like that. It looked like. Not just you, though, like, just to be clear. It's not like a you thing. It's like a him thing, Ashley explained. Morgan then discussed her closeness with Vince, noting that H was an emotional person who needed comforting and assurance to overcome hurdles. She clarified that she only provided the male Big Brother star with the emotional support he needed to help him advance in the competition as her teammate. Additionally, she pointed out that it was her nature to pay attention to people's needs. It was why she did not worry about the public's perception of their relationship. However, Vince did not feel the same way, as in a previous episode, he stated that he was worried about his relationship status with Kelsey. He also feared losing the game and leaving the house, only to have a negative reception. However, the final stretch of Big Brother 27 is officially underway, and the September 26, 2025, episode will deliver the first major piece of the endgame puzzle. After weeks of shifting alliances, blindsides, and power struggles, the houseguests faced both an emotional goodbye and the grueling start of the 3-part final head of household competition. With the jury now complete and only 3 players left in the house, every second of tonight's episode and its aftermath matters. The evening will begin with the last eviction before finale week. Ava was sent packing in the September 26th live episode, sealing her fate as the final jury member. It was a tough loss for her allies, and it set the stage for an intense endgame. Ava's departure meant that only Morgan, Vince, and Ashley remained inside the house with a shot at the $750,000 prize. The eviction will also clarify the battlefield. Each of the final three has very different strengths. Morgan has been dominant in competitions, Vince has relied on strategy and social bonds, and Ashley has navigated the game with persistence and flexibility. With Ava now out, the three remaining players know the jury is watching closely, weighing every move. Immediately after Ava's eviction, the show pivoted into the Final HOH competition. Tonight's episode featured part 1 of the traditional three-stage HOH battle. This round is usually an endurance test, designed to push players to their physical and mental limits. The stakes are simple. The winner of part 1 gets a direct ticket to the third and final round of HOH, while the losers are forced to face off in part 2. The feeds, which came back after the broadcast, revealed the results quickly. Morgan outlasted both Vince and Ashley to secure the part 1 win. Morgan emerged victorious in what houseguests described as an insane competition. She herself told Vince it was insane, while Vince, exhausted and frustrated, called it ridiculous. In a moment of candor, Vince admitted, "You are just having the success I dreamt of having." The exchange underscored just how dominant Morgan has been in the season's latter stages. Morgan's victory is more than just another notch in her competition resume, it guarantees her a spot in the final round of the HOH, which will air live on finale night. Winning part 1 provides a huge advantage. It allows her to skip the middle round entirely, saving her energy and focus for the decisive showdown. Morgan now gets to rest while Vince and Ashley must go head-to-head in part 2, with the winner earning the chance to face her in part 3. This sets up a fascinating dynamic. Vince, though shaken, still has fight in him. Ashley, who has fought from behind much of the season, knows this is her moment to prove she belongs in the finale. Both now face the pressure of a do-or-die competition. Meanwhile, Morgan sits comfortably with the knowledge that she cannot be eliminated before the last HOH battle. The outcome of part 1 already alters the final 3 landscape. For Morgan, this win is another strong argument for her jury resume. She has proven her ability to dominate in physical competitions and stay calm under pressure. The challenge now is whether she can balance her strong competitive record with jury management, as sometimes jurors see dominance as threatening rather than admirable. For Vince, losing part 1 was a blow, but he still has a chance to reset in part 2. His confession to Morgan about dreaming of her success highlights both his frustration and the jury narrative forming around him. If he can win part 2 and make a strong case in part 3, he could still reach the end and pitch himself as the more strategic, less threatening option. Ashley's path is tougher, but not impossible. She has been resilient all season, surviving weeks where her name was floated as a target. Winning part 2 against Vince would not only propel her into part 3, but it would also bolster her case to the jury that she can compete when it matters most. Tonight's broadcast will cover part 1 of the HOH. Part 2 will air in the next episode, showcasing Vince and Ashley battling for the last shot at the final round. The live finale, airing in just days, will feature part 3 of the HOH and the last eviction of the season, immediately followed by the jury's vote to crown the winner of Big Brother 27. This pacing means fans don't have long to wait. Every remaining episode carries enormous weight, and the suspense is designed to build to a climax on finale night. With Ava now seated in the jury house, the 9-person panel is complete. They will deliberate based on competition wins, strategic moves, and social relationships formed inside the house. The HOH results from this week will heavily influence how each finalist is perceived. Did they fight their way into the final 2, or did they rely on others to get there? Did they control their destiny, or did they get carried along? Morgan, Vince, and Ashley each bring a different story to the table. Morgan can argue dominance. Vince can argue strategy and resilience. Ashley can argue perseverance. Ultimately, the jury will decide which narrative resonates most. However, Big Brother 27 is almost over. It has been an up-and-down summer filled with controversial twists, but the long-running CBS show will soon crown a winner. Here's what to know about the season finale. However, Big Brother contestant Ava Pearl is making it clear she wants nothing to do with fellow housemate Vince Panaro once the show wraps, blasting him just moments before her eviction. It all went down Thursday night, when Ava made a desperate plea trying to convince Vince, who held the sole vote to keep her, despite their rocky relationship all season long. Things came to a head when Ava got up on her feet and said, "Vince, the only thing I can ask of you is to not contact me at all outside of this." Vince looked stunned by Ava's words, and it clearly didn't do her any favors, because she went on to get booted from the house. Fans of the show know Vince has been pretty divisive himself in the house, though partly due to his romantic entanglement with fellow contestant Morgan Pope. By the way, Vince apparently has a girlfriend on the outside, but she was noticeably absent when, earlier this week, the contestants were treated to videos from their friends and family. Ava's elimination leaves just 3 contestants left, fighting for the title, with the finale coming up this Sunday. However, Big Brother Season 27 is now in its last leg, as the final 3 houseguests, namely Vince, Morgan, and Ashley, compete for the $750,000 grand prize. The September 25, 2025, episode bid farewell to Ava after Vince voted to evict her over Ashley, putting an end to Morgan's head of household, HOH, reign. The feeds resumed shortly after the live eviction, revealing that Morgan had won the first part of the Final HOH competition. The Final HOH competition is conducted in 3 parts, each to be played on a different day. The winner of the first part automatically advances to the 3rd part of the contest, while the 2 remaining houseguests compete in the 2nd part. The winners of the 1st and 2nd phases then face off in a final battle, where the victor decides who to take to the final 2. The houseguest not chosen is evicted immediately and joins the jury. Thus, as the winner of the 1st phase, Morgan advanced to the final stage, leaving Ashley and Vince to face off in the 2nd competition. While Morgan was pleased with her position in the game, Vince was not. He feared he would finish in 3rd place and leave Big Brother without the cash prize or a reputation. As a result, he began to spiral. The live feeds returned to reveal that Morgan had won the 1st phase of the Final HOH competition, confirming her spot in the 3rd stage. While Morgan advanced in the game, the loss weighed heavily on Vince, who was not only displeased with his own performance but also discouraged about making it to the final 2 of Big Brother Season 27. Shortly after the HOH contest ended, Morgan and Vince discussed the challenge, with Morgan saying that the comp was insane. Vince chimed in, agreeing that it was ridiculous. While referring to a specific section of the task, Morgan said, "I'm telling you, oh my god, that parallel portion, if we had to do that one more time, I wasn't making it." Vince agreed with the female Big Brother contestant, complaining about the difficulty level of the challenge. Later, he became upset about losing and worried that he was not capable enough of taking home the winner's title. Morgan comforted him, urging him not to feel discouraged. She reminded him of his previous victories and told him that they were still in the middle of the Final HOH competition. So, there were chances he could still win it all. "It feels very out of my control," Vince replied, regardless. He believed he was not living up to his capabilities as he continued to lose challenges. Since then turned his attention to Morgan, admitting that watching her win everything is insane. He also complained about how Morgan defeated him in everything. Upon hearing that, she countered, reminding Vince that he had 4 HOH wins. But even then, Vince remained unconvinced, noting how Morgan won competitions she did not need to. "You are just having the success I dreamt of having," he added. The Big Brother star firmly believed that he would not win the game and that the grand prize was an unachievable goal. Vince feared that everyone in the jury despised him and that a rude awakening awaited him in the real world. When Morgan asked what he meant by rude awakening, he said it was the public perception that he worried about. Earlier in the series, he expressed concern about his relationship status with his girlfriend, Kelsey, and the public's perception of his closeness with Morgan. He wondered if Kelsey had dumped him because of his relationship with Morgan, which, according to him, was strictly platonic. As a result, he wanted to win Big Brother, so he would at least have something to rejoice about. However, what a night of Big Brother it was with the double eviction 2-hour show, and now we're off to the endurance battle. Ready to find out who won HOH this week on Big Brother 27? Follow along with our live recap below for all the results. After Kelly then Lauren were voted out, we were left with just 5 house guests this season, and Morgan, as the outgoing HOH, wasn't allowed to play in this endurance battle, which is a shame because she surely wanted a redemption from her wall performance. Instead we've got Ashley, Ava, Keanu, and Vince duking it out for the chance at safety and a guaranteed seat in the F4 round.